Welcome back to Doom Builder. Before we get started, first I just want to call attention to the on-screen display I have in the corner now for my keyboard. Several of you have suggested this in the comments. I looked into it a couple times and documentation really led me astray. Like, it seemed like it was super complicated to set up. Well, it actually isn't. It was really easy, so hopefully this works a lot better than my really janky overhead webcam thing. Anyway, back to Doom Builder, to this map we've been building over the course of this series. We've kind of been working on this spoke. I've called it a spoke on the eastern edge of the map, this outdoor area. We're actually really close to being done with this. As far as layout, I think it's just about what it needs to be. Just needs a little bit of detailing and some finish work before we move on to the next spoke in the map. What I want to focus on today is how to clean up the skyline over here. So if I stand up here on our secret area, this is another area we need to flesh out. It's not there yet, but if you look up at the ceiling, everything's just it's all the same height. It looks bland. That's fine for the tech base side of the area of the space, but when you look over here on the right where we have this rocky cliff thing, it just looks wrong. So I want to focus on the skyline up over here where I'm mousing over and break this up and show you a couple tips while we're working on that. Alright, so let's go over to map mode. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a top on this right. So I'm going to just start drawing and do something like this. Just kind of follow the lines that we already have here and let that close off. Now, I wanted this to be a cliff, so I need to select this, bring this all the way back up where it was, just about. Copy that texture, paste it back over here, and sort of create this ledge up here. Now I'm going to look at this on the window from in here. I'm going to hit G so that I'm stuck to the floor and look out. And I think we've got a good start here. But now it all needs to be different heights. So let's go ahead and set the floor to some rocky texture. Rocky texture as in a texture that looks like rocks, not something to do with Sylvester Stallone. I know, I'm sorry, that's a lame joke. It's like 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I'm doom mapping. And I may say some really goofy things because my brain's not all here. Let's do our Rock 09. Now I want this to be multiple heights. This hasn't visually changed anything really. I'm going to come back up here and just draw some lines out. Put some depth in here, split this up into different sectors. Oh, maybe make some stuff a little uneven. Yeah, let's do more of that. Make all this jagged, make it look like some kind of broken cliff. Now with that done, I'm going to go back into visual mode and we're just going to vary the heights on each of these sectors. Just kind of randomly do whatever with them. That one can be low, this one can be high. Just something like this. I'm going to copy this rock texture, multi-select all of these missing lowers, and paste over them. You still can't tell from this ledge. We will address that in a moment, but if we look at it from ground level, well, we can't even see it from ground level, not without mouse look. So let's make the lower regions a little lower. Might also play with light levels later on. Maybe this whole thing just needs to be lower, because in classic Doom you can't look up or down, and at least in Doom Builder, well, maybe a little bit. You can barely see that skyline, which means our effect isn't really accomplishing much unless you're up here on the secret. This whole thing just needs to go down. I'm gonna select all these tops and just bring this down until we can see it. And I think this will be enough. That's going to bring it into view. You might not be able to see it on YouTube. I still have to make some changes that will... Well, here, let's just go ahead and do this. I do want to fix this back later, but for now, we're going to change this texture just so this is actually visible once YouTube does all its encoding stuff. Let's change that to a gray stone. Now, that helped a lot, just as far as being able to see this skyline. Let me turn highlighting off. So let me get my mouse centered. This is about what it would look like in Doom. Now, I don't want the gray rock. I actually want that to be sky back there. But I'm trying to get it so that you can... Oops. I'm trying to get it so that you can see how I've broken this up through the heights. Alright, next step. I said I wanted sky behind here. I'm going to just make this a lot deeper first. Drag this wall out. Maybe add a few more vertices in here, get a little more geometry going. I'm trying to make it just look like it's some kind of natural rock formation. And this is really going to, this is going to be a visual contrast to this, you know, clean, bright, rectangular tech base going on across the way. Step back outside, pin myself to the floor. Okay. Next step, we're going to replace the back with sky. And to do this, we're going to abuse some upper textures. I don't know if I've done this yet in this map. Maybe in the starting area, I'm not sure. But maybe I'm repeating myself, maybe not. Either way, here we go. I'm going to take this back area, actually I'm going to make this a lot deeper right here. Okay, I'm going to draw a line across the back that does something like this. Like so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ceiling, oh, my highlight's off, grab the ceiling on this back sector, group of sectors that I just defined, and start dragging this down, and watch what happens to the sky as I do this. Okay, now I'm going to have to do this one at a time because everything's a different height, but I'm going to, for each one of these sectors, bring this all the way down to the floor. Okay, now this is going to be really close to the effect I'm looking for. If I peg myself back to the floor here, turn highlight off so that that goes away, and look, now this sky up here is really broken up. We've got this kind of rocky, broken cliff thing going on, and visually it's a lot more interesting than what was going on before. Let's see what this looks like from this window over here looking out. And this actually works pretty well with this stock Doom 2 Map 1 sky. Gives you more of a sense of space as you look out there. I'm going to vary some brightnesses. Looks like 192 is sort of our default sky. All these lower areas I'm going to dim a bit. And, well, we'll start... Actually, that's too much. 144 is too dim. We'll do 160. And these higher areas, we'll just bring those down to 176. The Doom engine already does some interesting things with light levels automatically, just based on how far away you are from them, to some extent what angle you're looking at them. But we can do a little more ourselves with light levels to really make, add some shadows up here, and now this becomes very visually distinctive as you look out there. It's not just all this flat gray rock with no, you can see the areas now. I don't know what I'm saying. Hopefully that comes across. Let's go ahead and launch Doom and see what this actually looks like in the game. Okay, we've reached our staircase that overlooks this outdoor area, and I'm just gonna kind of go through the window here and look out. And I like just how much this little detail adds to this space. If we jump down, come through the door. This is much better than what it was before. The next thing I want to do, and this is just adding on to some comments I made in the previous video, where we were doing that out of bounds monster closet thing up over here. This whole cliff area, this region, is something the player can't reach. I intend for this to be completely out of bounds. This is just visual, it's just background. It's not something players can get to, it's not something monsters can get to. So what I want it to be unreachable. I switch to line def mode. I'm going to grab the front of the cliff. And I'm going to make these lines impassable, and I'm going to make them show as one-sided on automap. The rest of these lines, let me see how many of these I can multi-select. Everything that's behind there, I want to select. Including this one. So I've got everything selected behind the cliff. I'm gonna right click and do not shown on automap. So now if I just launch the game again, now that I'm back in the outdoor region, I want to look up there just so that my automap fills out. And when I pull the map up, as you can see, it just shows the solid line right here. So the shown as one-sided makes the map not render it, you know, if you see these like tan and yellow lines, those are two-sided lines, and that's just a clue on the map that there's space on the other side. Well, now this is just red. And also the cliffs behind don't show on the map at all. So, you know, initially player might come out here, clear the space out, and then start looking at those cliffs and wonder, hey, I wonder, is there anything up there? Are there secrets? Can I get up there? And then they're going to pull up the auto map and see that it's not even a region. And hopefully that's just a clue that, no, this is just visual decoration. Don't worry about that space up there. Last thing I want to discuss before we close out. I'm not sure if I've talked about this yet either. This series is getting pretty long. I'm probably repeating myself, but that's how you learn sometimes. Right now, Doom Builder is actually rendering the sky, and this is what allows us to look out here and see that, you know, see our effect where it looks like there's sky behind here. But if I hit the tab key, that's going to turn it off, and it calls it enhanced rendering. So if I cycle that, you see that pop up says changed enhanced rendering. Rendering effects are enabled, rendering effects are disabled, and that's the tab key. So when I disable it, now you can see, you know, it just shows a flat in place of the sky. It's no longer doing the sky effect. And that allows me in Doom Builder visual mode to just really get a feel for where the ceiling actually is. You know, this is a totally different feel when you see this as a flat. It feels a little more cramped, but you can see exactly where that surface is. And what this does on the back is you can see we have all these upper textures, all these upper side defs that are missing a texture. And it, you know, Doom Builder's nice. It shows you missing. It has this nice 64 by 64 missing texture thing that it renders. But again, this just helps me, for the moment, I can look back here and see what's actually going on. I can see where the walls are, you know, where the boundaries are. And also if I were to just grab one of these and bring it back up. When you're maneuvering heights and moving sectors around, changing your ceiling and floor positions, turn off enhanced rendering and it might be a lot more obvious what you're actually doing. If I turn that back on, this can be a little confusing to look at. Especially, you know, you're trying to get the floor and ceiling heights to match. I mean, I can do it, but it's easier like this. Anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to cover for this episode. I think the next couple episodes we're just going to finish detailing out this area and then we'll move on to the next spoke. Thanks for watching.